Valve is a threat to the gaming industry. Good. That's what I like to hear.
Big news this week as former Amazon vice president of Prime Gaming opened up about the company's 15 plus year long attempt to challenge Steam, which, yeah, news to everybody in the gaming sphere because this is a battle that it's like that Thanos meme of like,
Yeah, we actually read his statement. It was hilarious. I'm pretty sure Valve never even noticed that Amazon is trying to challenge them, considering they didn't even make a single game while trying to make games. Not a lot of challenge there.
I don't even know who you are. Steam never looked at Amazon as a challenger in any regard. But yeah, apparently this Amazon vice president outlined how they acquired Reflexive Entertainment, a small PC game store.
Funniest part? Did you know that Amazon games have existed for 15 plus years at this point? Yeah, not even kidding. Not even kidding.
3 years ago, tried to scale it, went nowhere. Then they bought Twitch. I guess they assumed that buying Twitch would bring gamers, and naturally they would buy from them because they were already using Twitch. And yeah, that didn't happen. And then they
He's not joking. That's literally in the statement.
tried building Luna, a gaming streaming service that let people play without a high-end PC. Google Stadia was also around at that same time. Both of those services went absolutely nowhere.
At least people heard about Stadia and laughed about it. This is the first time I hear the name Luna. Well, probably second or third, but you know what I mean.
And this kind of just perfectly summarizes the delusional mindset of some of these AAA executives, or really just the executives in general in the corporate world. Because, yeah, Amazon was never a challenger to Steam. But if we're actually talking about challengers that actually did move the needle, at least for a bit, it was the Epic Game Store, which to this day, with all the moves and everything that they did, it still isn't profitable 5 years after launch. And that is news from 2023. We haven't heard much because nobody really uses the Epic Game Store. They bought up a bunch of exclusives. That was their whole marketing strategy. And Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, revealed even recently that, yeah, these investments were not good investments for the company. They tried using that Fortnite money, and it just
Yeah, no shit. Turns out trying to force people to use your product without making a good product is not exactly what one may call a great business strategy.
didn't put a dent in the
Great for literally burning money, but not really good for anything else.
market share that, I mean, let's be honest, Steam owns the market. But in reality, Gabe Newell did admit at the time, at the very least, he did say that Epic, it kept them honest, but it's ugly in the short term. And it was ugly, with a lot of AAA publishers and companies chasing that Epic Game Store money and reneging on their promises to gamers. And that was my big issue with a lot of that stuff that was happening back then. You heard a lot of lies coming from AAA executives like Randy Pitchford. They just didn't want to admit, yeah, we're taking the money. We don't care about what platform we're launching on, even if the Epic Game Store at the time.
And the best part, they didn't even take good games. Like, look at this Borderlands 3. Uh huh. Yeah. That's a great exclusive to have. I'm sure everyone was happy.
Time was lacking basic functionality in terms of store features. It was ridiculous, and it was rightfully ridiculed by many gamers. And a couple of years later, it's quite clear that everything that the Epic Games Store did, it didn't move the needle at all. And ultimately, though, it did improve some stuff in the gaming sphere, such as Steam changing their developer split. They gave a little bit more money to developers. Those were some of the good things that came out of it, if there is any good. Now, ultimately, with the whole PC platform, which one's best, it really comes down to which one is providing more for gamers. And GOG is a great example of that. Besides Steam, I love using GOG, and they've done some great things over the years. Recently, the preservation program to ensure the longevity of Fallout, The Witcher, and there was actually a number of Blizzard titles that got introduced into the program. I absolutely love it. This is the type of stuff that I want to see from the PC platforms. And Steam, ultimately, though, they have been leading in this regard, at least as of late. They've been doing a lot of pro-consumer decisions. Some of this is because of legal actions that's happening around the world. They're being more proactive. But still, these are the types of things, these are
The legal action. I'm not sure what the legal actions he's talking about because, as far as I know, there are no real legal actions that are gonna force Steam to be better against their consumers. If anything, all the legal action against Steam should force Steam to be worse against their consumers Because Steam being good against their consumers is what makes their monopoly so strong. And Steam is a monopoly. There's not a single game dev that is not gonna lick Gaben's underbelly if if Gaben demands that. It's just not happening.
The reasons why I want to support a platform, not because, X executive is going to be getting $2-3 million just to have their game, like what happened with the Epic Game Store. But ultimately, I do think we need to be having a discussion that Valve, the game developer publisher, is very different than Valve, the platform holder. I say that as there has been some serious, obvious blunders. Artifact would be a great example of it. Their card game, which was an absolute travesty.
Oh god, this was so bad. Literally died, by the way, in a couple of days, if I'm not being mistaken. It was really bad.
And didn't last very long. There is also the CSGO gambling scandal, which feels like a scandal that's been going on for years. That is really one of the big sore spots with Valve, and the fact that they've pocketed billions upon billions of dollars. Just one of those things that has been talked.
Yeah, this is probably the truest thing, because the reality is everyone fucking knows that Valve is lying about the CSGO gambling situation. Everyone knows that Valve is just blatantly being disingenuous. Oh, it's not real money. We live in a day and age where in literally 0.1 second, I can convert everything I own into real money from the stuff that I have in Valve. Now, granted, it's not Valve's fault that that is the case, but at the same time, that they are benefiting from it. But yet, is this actually Valve's fault that other people want to do this with their product? Kinda not. I don't know. That's a hard question.
Extensively about, and we really haven't seen too much movement in regards to crackdowns on this, because Valve has made some movement over the years, but every time they did, it seems like it just reemerged in another form. However, that does not tell the full story, as Valve obviously a couple of years ago released Half-Life Alyx, which was met to amazing reviews, and it has sold around 3 to 4 million copies in the year since, and really is a must-play VR title for a market that really doesn't quite exist, or it's not there yet. There's obviously also Dota 2, still extremely successful to this day. Counter-Strike
Oh shit, Dota's numbers are actually going up. Wow.
2, also extremely successful. And then just recently, Valve did an amazing thing by making Team Fortress 2 partially open source and allowing the community to create full mods based on it. And then yes, the big game that has been lingering in gaming news, leaks, it feels like there's a rumor every month, but Half-Life 3, if Valve actually ever did it, the internet would explode, and this would be one of the most highly anticipated games on the market. And even as of late, there has been some new rumors indicating it might indeed be on the way finally. But look, Steam is one of the few platforms, not just necessarily on PC, but even console. You can just go to a store page and you have reviews right there telling you, how people view this game. You get honest reactions.
Yeah, that seems about right, dude. How many Blizzard titles even have close to almost a 50% like ratio at this point? World of Shitcraft? No, maybe Classic. Maybe Sod, I'm not sure. But retail is dead. Overwatch is, well, it's literally right in front of you, and I don't know what to call that if not dead. Then we have other great things like Hearthstone. Who, yeah, I know. Same feelings about that one, my friend. And Diablo 4 is, I mean, barely bots bought it any longer.
Because if you go on the PlayStation, if you go on Xbox, Nintendo, it's a very controlled environment. And those reviews are not in the forefront. They're not in your face. And you're not getting total access to how people feel about these games. And yes, I understand that they have reviews, they have like stars you can give to a game, but it's nowhere near what you have here with Steam. And I do definitely feel like you get the ire of the AAA games industry with stuff like this. We've heard over the years executives from Ubisoft and other AAA publishers wanting, player accounts to be removed. They want reviews like this.
Oh yeah, the Ubisoft thing was rumored after Star Wars Outlaws debuted on Steam with a whopping no one playing it. Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. That was a huge win.
To not be accessible because all this stuff hurts their sales, especially if people are able to openly tell you about how they view this game or to review bomb a game. And obviously Valve has had to make some movement on that type of stuff, but definitely being able to see like a game like Overwatch 2 and see these reviews and have people openly talk about how Overwatch has suffered because of Blizzard's inaction over the years, that is good. I think that is healthy for the gaming industry, discussions that need to happen.
Now, okay, want to hear my hot take on Overwatch, by the way? It's kind of unique, but this is the hot take. I think Overwatch suffers more when Blizzard actively tries to improve it. Okay? I think Overwatch is a better situation when Blizzard literally forgets it exists and doesn't actually do anything for it. Every time that a Blizzard has tried to improve Overwatch, it just has gotten worse. Okay?
And this sore spot, this is something that Blizzard has to address. They have to fix. And it keeps some of these developers honest, at least, I think, in my eyes. Now, it is worth mentioning that US lawmakers have been coming after Steam. We talked about this extensively in a different video, but Pepe the Frog, that is pretty much it. An ADL report which had like numerous instances of
ADL literally runs hate campaigns almost constantly. They're shit.
Pepe the Frog was used as an example that there's just hate all over Steam and there needs to be a crackdown. This is what US senators have been asking, or demanding, I should say, demanding Gabe Newell to intervene and put action. Really what they want is censorship. That is what they've been calling for. And they hide it behind this ridiculous report. And this was something that happened in 2022, and New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan brought this up. She said harassment, extremism problem, that is something that's prevalent on Steam. You guys need to stop it. And then it reemerged after a new report came from the ADL in 2024, in which a different U.S. senator, I believe this was from, the senator from Virginia, Mark Warner, he said that Valve needs to crack down on what he calls hateful accounts and rhetoric proliferating on Steam. And again, the biggest evidence in these reports is
obviously the biggest evidence in these reports is probably that the report was made. And that is some kind of self-existential justification bullshit.
I'm not lying, you can check it yourself, is Pepe the fucking Frog, which, with that being your evidence, nobody's going to take this at all serious.
But now, I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of weirdos, crackpots, in American government who will take it very, very seriously. Also, they will ask for a little bit of compensation for taking it very seriously, but that's fine.
Like most of you understand, Valve is a behemoth. They really are the place to go if you're going to be playing on PC and buying games. And it really...
You know how you can tell that Valve is the biggest player in gaming? It's not by their sales, it's not by their anything, but it's about the fact that an analyst is constantly trying to undermine Steam's price. The literal heart and soul of the PC market literally has, what, like 50 billion, trillion, gazillion active users every day who are constantly scrolling through lists of games that range from free to $150 and they're buying? Bruh, that's a lot of money. Okay? And here comes Microsoft telling Gabe, hey Gabe, I know you make like a billion, gadrillion every year through Steam, but how about I buy Steam from you for $5 million? No, seriously, they actually did that. Microsoft approached Steam and told Gabe, hey, this is how much your company's worth, okay? $5 billion. Deal with it. When someone is trying to undermine the importance of something, you know that something actually has far more power.
Really is important for some of these platform holders to take action and be a little bit proactive for consumers. And I think Valve has been definitely a lot more proactive, at least in the last couple of years. And this is a great example of it. Valve bans forced in-game ads from all Steam titles.
Oh yeah, this was the new base thing Valve did. I forgot about it.
What the report says, as spotted by Gaming on Linux, Valve's encyclopedic Streamworks documentation has been updated to make it much more clear that it refuses to sell any game that relies on in-game advertising for its business model. This is a massive...
Yeah, this is that situation where they're banning all of those games that are like, Well, you can do this faster if you just watch an ad.
Shot at the free-to-play MMO market, in which some of this stuff is very much prevalent, and mobile games, that's especially the case, mobile games. And we have seen a lot of movement from some of these mobile games to get entries on Steam, and Valve pretty much here is saying, that's not happening. That means no games can require players to watch ads to be able to play, nor hide any elements of a game behind a commercial. And it goes further, banning the use of viewing ads to gain an in-game advantage, rewards, or time. Valve specifically says in their instructions, developers should not utilize paid advertising as a business model in their game, such as requiring players to watch or otherwise engage with advertising in
Huge
order to
one.
play, or gating gameplay behind advertising. If your game's business model
And this is coming with, I forgot which studio, but it's one of those AAA bullshitters. I don't remember who it was. Was it Blizzard? Was it Ubisoft? I don't remember. But someone said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put ads in your games now because reasons." Disgusting.
model relies on advertising on other platforms, you will need to remove these elements before shipping on Steam. And it goes further, saying developers should not use advertising as a way to provide value to players, such as giving players a reward for watching or engaging with advertising in their game. And I understand many watching this video be like, well, how does this relate to the AAA games industry? Like, we're not seeing this happen. And the truth is, we are seeing this happen. We've seen Xbox even talk about this. They talked about this in 2022, in which some Xbox games could soon have more ads. This was something that Microsoft talked about, and this is something that they were talking about behind the scenes. PlayStation as well talked about how they wanted ads in its games too. The big problem is there's no clarity about how these ad models are going to be introduced. Is it some background,
I don't care that there is literally no clarity about how they want to do this thing. This thing is fundamentally against my interests, so I hate it. I will not enforce it. I will do everything I can to screech, yell, and advocate against it. I don't want anything that goes against my needs, my wants, to be in this world.
advertisement on a car or something, or is it something forced into your face? And this is something that Electronic Arts also talked about in an investor call just last year, in which they were talking about the new Battlefield. They talked about how it was another tremendous live service in terms of talking about, its quality, which is hilarious, just shows you how EA's executives view that game. They're just thinking
Wow.
about money, money, money instead of the actual quality of the content. But EA's CEO then pivoted to talking about, maybe we should be putting more AAA, ads in these AAA games. Advertising has an opportunity to be a meaningful driver of growth for us. What does it mean by advertising?
It means they're desperate, okay? Line always must go up. It's not a meme, boys. It is actually reality. And they want it to go up. This was responsible for the push of on constant online services and live service titles and stuff like that. Because when a game goes up like this and makes your stock go like that, it's actually not beneficial for most people involved with the stock because they're gonna have to repeat it somehow next time. And whenever the stock goes down, because when line go up like this, it's unsustainable. Obviously, everyone knows that, right? And when it goes down, those people are gonna lose their jobs, lose their bonuses, lose their privileges, and they're gonna be called shit in the industry. So that was the major live service pivot that everyone did. Because live services do make the line go up, but just this much. And that is the key of every publicly traded company, why it's actually bullshit and publicly traded companies should not honestly be even allowed, in my opinion. Because they just care about line go up. Okay? And when they understood that live services are not going to make the line go up, now they're like, ads. Let's put ads. Yeah, there you go.
And I think we've seen many times over the years that you cannot trust this industry to do gamers right. They will force this stuff down your throat. And the big thing
Damn
is,
right.
we have had unskippable advertising thrown in our face. NBA 2K is the greatest example of this. This happened a couple of years ago. It angered many fans, and they only continued it. I believe that they had stopped, but look, we've seen loot boxes. That was the big thing around 2017. Hell, Blizzard's bringing it back. And obviously it's not paid or anything, but monetization mechanics will return. They always return in different forms, and if it's successful, they continue. And advertising is very much
Actually, that's not entirely true. these things are cyclical because again, at some point, loot boxes are not are gonna reach their full market saturation for whatever game they are implemented in, and when that is reached, you know what happens? A line no longer go up. Maybe it goes like this. Maybe it goes like that. Either way, bad, very bad. Not getting my fifth mansion and yacht bad, aka, and that needs to be stopped. And at that point, it is the pivot of okay, investors, okay, board of directors, we are gonna change from loot boxes because we believe takes dart, throws it at the dartboard, and Game Pass. Game Passes are gonna make more money for everyone, okay? So they take the small hit, everything's fine, no one's even mad about it because it was expected, it was already sold, and then Game Pass arise, and then the line go up. And then after a time, guess what? We're at the start of the circle. So what's at the start of the circle? Market saturation. Market saturation with Game Passes has been reached. Okay? So now we're again at the board of directors, the investor call, and they're asking what are you going to do to supplement grow, and they're like, okay, loot boxes. No, you don't even mention loot boxes. The game pass, the battle pass, the whatever pass was good, but we have something better. Takes dart, throws at the board, and it's I don't know, gambling, horse skins, ads in games, whatever. And after that, you know, they go this circle like 3 to 4 times or whatever. And then it's, oh, let's reintroduce loot boxes. Everyone forgot that that's a thing. And there you go. There you go. That's how it works.
One of those.
Sometimes they mix like loot boxes with battle passes and shit like that, but at the end of the day, it's all bullshit.
Untapped areas in which these AAA executives see the potential and they will force this down their throat or force it down gamers' throats. But having a massive platform like Steam, which really controls the PC gaming sphere, they have a say in that conversation. And right now they are saying that's unacceptable. You cannot do that. And these are the types of decisions, these are the type of the leadership that we need from this industry, especially to hold these AAA publishers accountable and also to put a stop to some of their greedy minds and some of their visions of really ruining the gaming industry even further with greed. Now, it's not like this decision on advertising on Steam is the only good thing that Steam has done, because look, in 2021,
the bell icon can be clicked? Oh shit, it can! I never tried that. Wow.
they were one of the first companies to really say that, yeah, NFTs, cryptocurrency, you can keep that off of our platform. We're not doing that. And ultimately, look, this was just last year. Ubisoft has been very much on the forefront of pushing NFT games, and they quietly launched a full-blown NFT game, Champion Tactics.
Sucked.
This was in October. And just a couple of months later, they tried it again featuring Rayman. And everybody says in the year 2024, but these AAA executives, these AAA companies, especially a company like Ubisoft, which is extremely desperate right now, they will push this stuff down people's throats just to make a nickel and a dime. And a company, again, they are desperate for money, and this is why you cannot trust these companies like Ubisoft to do gamers right. They will screw you over if it means they're going to make some more money. And ultimately, Square Enix is another great example. They've been pushing NFT projects for a while now, and they still are in 2024. And look, Gabe Newell actually gave his reasoning at the time for why he was so anti-crypto games and why they were removed from Steam. In an interview in 2022 with Rock Paper Shotgun, he said another...
I'll close my eyes and just make a prediction because it's bad for the consumer. It has scams and shit, right?
The thing was that the vast majority of those transactions of crypto games, for whatever reason, were fraudulent, where people were repudiating transactions or using illegal sources of funds and things like that. And then he continued, and I don't think he's talking about the AAA companies like Ubisoft or Square Enix, but I like to imagine he is just because it's funny. Similarly, with the actors that are currently in this NFT space, they're not just people you really are wanting to be doing business with. That doesn't say anything about the underlying technology. It's just a reflection of the people right now who are viewing it as an opportunity to rip customers off, which is primarily all of the companies and executives and everybody who's been taking part in it the last number of years, or engage in money laundering or other things like that. And again, I'm sure he's not talking about Ubisoft and companies like that, but
I mean, Ubisoft would probably not be a lot above that if you ask me.
Like to imagine he is. Now, besides Steam saying no to in-game ads, they've also done a number of other great things. Here's another.
Why is he using this? This is, if I'm not mistaken, from a TI. It's a skit.
Example from The Verge. Steam now warns you if an early access PC game might be abandoned. Steam's early access program helps small to medium-sized developers get an idea off the ground, but not every game actually does. Now Valve has a notice designed.
Looking at you, Pirate Software, with your 8 years in early access bullshit, or how many it was. Yeah, looking at that kinda.
And to warn Steam users when they visit an early access game store page if it's been a minute since the last update. If the dev's lofty goals for a 1.0 release were a little too lofty, then it's probably time to do some due diligence before spending money on what may be abandonware. And what this does is it makes a lot of these developers, they have to be more open. They have to be more communicative with their community. And that is great. That is great for gamers. That is another pro-consumer decision. And again, it forces these developers or anybody who's engaging in early access to be more open about the process and what's happening, and fear of having Valve doing this. Now, back in October, it was also announced by Steam that they were getting ahead of a new
fear is a little bit of a strong word here, because this fear is rightful, it's just, and it's justified, okay? Valve is not in the wrong to make these losers fear.
California law, informing users that they don't own their game.
Of course, it's the California shit law. Okay, of course. I mean, shit. Who else if not California?
This is a different discussion we're going to have in a separate video, hopefully soon, but yeah, Steam is informing its users that they don't fully own the games they purchase as a new California law on digital content ownership looms. Steam.
Yeah. But I mean, I knew this, most people knew this, and most people, the super majority of people, are completely fine with this because, I mean, we trust Steam. Now, granted, if time is infinite, every possibility will occur at some point. It is an inevitability, which means if the universe will go on forever, I mean, Steam's gonna fuck up and not be cool anymore at some point. But I mean, I hope I'm long gone before that. Okay. Who knows what's gonna happen when they put Gabe's brain in a jar and, you know, he still gets to run Steam. You know, things change, you know? It's something Omni-Man? Anyway, that was Legendary Drops. 10 out of developments into Kill HD. Jesus, I get these two mixed up because one of them is fatter and the other one isn't. It is what it is, boys. 10 out of 10. Also, they're not even alike, but their names are very, very alike. Jesus, Legacy Kill HD versus Legendary Drops. No, it's not even alike. I'm just an idiot. Anyway, bye.